Hey there, this is a short part of a bigger video on the teardown and rebuild of a 99 KTM 300 EXC. This particular video is how you go about removing the kickstart assembly shaft assembly and replacing just the shaft, keeping all the other bits, just the shaft. In this case, this shaft had gotten really worn out and it's obvious that it needed replacing. You'll see that here in a moment. Right now, we're just removing the clip where the spring is attached to. It is under pressure, kind of like any kind of spring, a garage door spring or something like that. It is under pressure, so you will want to grab something and hold on to it. And you'll also want to hold on to the little piece or be ready to pick it up off the floor. As you'll see, once this bolt comes out, the thing goes flying. So we did find it, obviously. But if you need to take apart the motor, get it out, you can do that through the other video that you can see up in the upper corner. That's the full removal and reassembly. This is just the Kickstarter shaft. Hope you enjoy. Once you have the spring released, you can just pull the whole assembly out. It pops out just as easy as that. Next comes the more difficult part of replacing it. You can see here how bad the grooves are chewed up on this old unit. So the only thing that needs replacing is the actual shaft. Everything else was in really good condition and didn't need replacing. It just needed to be moved over to this new shaft. Spring goes into this, which the way it looks, you pull this spring, it bends and goes into here. Yeah. So I imagine we pull that out, it's going into this hole right here. Get your screwdriver up under the spring and up on top of the gear to get that right motion to get that spring loose. Now you can just remove the spring, you can remove that plastic piece, then you can remove the gear and the bearing, and then the next is to try and get that pawl off that makes it ratchet. Next, remove the spring from underneath the dog that holds it up against the pawl. Well, in order to get this out and in, we ended up taking it to the machine shop, and he was successful at taking a flat punch and just tapping it out. We were not successful with that because our punch had a pointed tip on it, so we didn't continue trying to do that for fear of boogering something up. Now it's time to reassemble all this and try and start building this thing back together. Next, you'll want to put the tensioner spring back, and then you'll put the gear back on the shaft and check it to make sure that it works properly. So, to recap, spring on the pawl, needle bearings, pinch this pawl, pinch the pawl down, now everything's in place. Then you line up the plastic hole and this hole and put the spring through both of them. Now we got this on, we can just line it up and get it to lock in place. There it goes. So now it's all in and all tight. Don't be surprised if the Kickstarter wants to stick a little bit at first. The case is aluminum, the shaft is stainless steel, and this will soften up pretty quickly. We're going to go back in here with this facing about right here and this facing top of that.
So there's like, you ain't gotta actually set the spring so I got tension on before you kick it, or when it goes back
we put this and then we'll bring this around and hook it on here.
Okay. So it's going to definitely have some.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm there.
Yep.
Alright, so we can pull this out.
That bolt's definitely a lot better shape than his jerry rig.
Mm-hmm. What we found is by starting the bolt into the hole of the retainer clip, then you can pull the spring around and hook it into the retainer clip and then tighten the clip down. That was the easiest way to get this part done. Next, you'll just, after this, just continue reassembling the motor and put it back in and give it a kick.